I'm Leona Nicole Black. Welcome to your July General Tarot reading. Thank you for choosing to spend some time with me. I am very excited to be able to sit and do your reading today. Thank you also for the likes, shares, subscribes, for the comments that you leave me on videos. It means a great deal. I do read all of your comments. I do try to drop a heart as well. I think I'll be doing a little bit better with that. At least heart in your comments so you know I've acknowledged it and I've read it. I think it matters that you know that I am listening to what you're saying back to me based on the readings, and I love that you connect so well with my energy. So as usual, you know the drill. If you'd like a personal reading with me, it's nicoleblack.com/services. And then you can see either my video call reading service or my in-person reading for those of you who are based in London. Both my UK clients and my international clients can go for the video call option if you would like to. So you're reading Libra. Wow. I looked at your cards, and the energy that was moving through me while I was kind of taking in your messages was a little strict. I'm just going to warn you. I feel like this month so far, having that part of me, that spirit in me is not, it's been very gentle, but you seem to be getting a bit more of a parental, disciplinarian spirit coming through me. So I just want you to be aware of that. Kind of brace yourselves for some tough loving. I'll be gentle because I'm Cancer rising and that's how I'm going to give it to you. But there are some strict truths, some things for you to kind of confront right now. So let's just begin the reading. First cards, as you know, how are you showing up this month? What's your energy? What's your character? How are you facing the world and facing people around you? You've got the High Priestess to begin with. This is a beautiful card. This is really good energy for you. What I feel for you with this card is that this is a very, very intuitive time for you, Libra. I feel like there is an energy that is passing through you at the moment that is really trying to communicate things with you because of the shift in energy that we've got, the portals that are happening, the things that are wanting to be released and closed down and reopened. And I feel like your spirit guides, your ancestors, your angels are a little closer to you right now, giving you a little bit more support to be able to navigate the changes that you need. And I mean this, sorry, I want to turn this light up a bit. I mean this specifically for your sign. I do think this is an energy that's coming through for you particularly. So I think your energy, Libras, you're getting a bit more support this month because your second card about how you're showing up is another major arcana, and it's the Temperance card here. Now with the Temperance card, I'm feeling that you have been working on balance, integration, harmony. You have been really self-reflective. You have been going into yourself. You have been clearing out things within that are not in your highest good, that don't resonate well with you. But I feel like there is an expediation happening now where it's like, yes, you've done some work, but Spirit's like, we need to speed this process up. You need to get this done a bit more quickly than you are. And when I looked at this card, the energy I felt was that you are juggling things, people, situations, businesses, whatever it is, there are things that you're juggling in your life that now need to be taken out of the equation completely. And so with the Temperance card, you can see this kind of androgynous, angelic figure pouring from two cups, one into the other, and it's really the balance here is about no cup ever being empty. But I feel like in the process of you pouring, whether it's to yourself and into businesses or external things, there is something or a person or a thing that's mixed up in this pouring that I feel is sullying these waters, that is almost poisoning or diminishing your gift, your talent, what you're doing. There's something in there. It's kind of like having a really, let's say you had a great drink, a cocktail, a glass of wine, prosecco, I don't know, whatever you like, and you had a big black housefly drop into it. You know, that kind of messes with the whole thing, right? Like personally, I would not still drink that. And I feel like there are things that you're doing and there is a black housefly in your stuff. There's something in there that doesn't belong, that is not of the nature of the things that you want to do, need to do, and it's not in alignment with your purpose. And I think you are struggling. I don't even think you see the fly, or if you do, I think it's more that you feel it, but you can't name it. You can't identify what this particular thing is. And I feel that's why Spirit's stepping up a bit this month and is like, look, we need to get this fly out your drink, okay? Like it's a metaphor, guys. Like, don't take that too seriously, but in the sense that you need whatever is distorting the picture for you right now to be removed. So I asked Spirit, what's the context for that energy? Why is this how you're showing up? And you've got the Eight of Cups card. Well, let me show you what the three cards you got for this particular question. You got the Eight of Cups, you got the Devil, and you got the Death card. So I was like, well, Libra. So let's back up. Eight of Cups is obviously you leaving something behind. It's you clearing the emotional waters right now. But when I looked at this card, for the very first time, I saw the two different, let's call them tectonic plates or icebergs, or, you know, these two different, sorry, my finger, here we go, these two different segments of land. And the eight cups that exist are on the other side. And this person in the red cloak representing their power here has moved over this river, over this emotional space, over this flow of or pattern of emotion onto different ground, onto finding higher ground, into pursuing and finding what is still left undone here, what is still incomplete in this picture. And I feel for you, the message that I was feeling when I looked at this card is that there is a time lapse happening now. There is maybe time lapse is not the right phrase, Libra, but there is a let's say the clock is running down and there is a need to make a choice before a certain doorway, a certain portal closes. Now, I'm not saying this to frighten you. It's not my intention to make you panic about anything. And it isn't that, it's not that you will never have new opportunities or new choices, because you will. You won't have this one though. You know, you won't have this this gift, this dream, this opportunity in the way that it's presenting itself to you now. Now, you will have other ones if you can't, if you're not able to pass through this threshold in the way that you need to right now. But that's what it is. That's your growth cycle. But for those of you who are listening to this, I think there is an opportunity for you to choose a path that is in your highest good in this moment. And that requires you, like I'm saying, to cross the river. Because what I'm feeling, when I'm calling them tectonic plates, I feel like these land, I don't have words today. These islands, let's call them, are drifting apart, and that gap that you would have to jump to go to the other side is getting wider and wider and wider. And that's why I'm saying that Spirit is trying to get you to expedite this work so that you can take the leap of faith that you need to in order to. I said to you this was a very creative year for you. I said that you were birthing projects, ideas, and businesses. And so I personally feel, Libra, from the energy of this reading, that it's relationships that are the issue for you here. Now, you are the sign, the archetype of partnership. And being an air sign, it is really communication and partnership that I think is probably being highlighted. But I feel like you need, in order to birth the dreams, the visions that you have right now, you're going to need to close some doors and some relationships in your life. And whether that is people who are present or people who are no longer present but are present emotionally for you still. There is a purging. I said this to Cancer. There is a purging still to happen. And this is what you're being called to do. There's a walking away and moving away now. Now, I think that this door is in front of you. This path is in front of you, Libra, but I'm not sure that you're actually stepping into it. And this is why you have the Devil card. Now, with the Devil card this month, I feel like it is going to show up in the doorway itself, is, and it's going to look you in the face. That's how I feel. I feel like the places where you're stuck, the places where you're disempowered, the places where you're lost and confused, the places where you still feel wounded, even though you are on a process and journey of healing, I feel like they are going to show up and really show themselves to you. They're going to stand up in your face this month. Devil's going to present itself as whatever it is in your life. And it is this kind of like, it's the gatekeeper, I feel. That's the energy I feel from this. It's going to show up and be like, you will defeat me, you know, big boss in the game, final boss in the game. You're going to defeat me to get to the next level. You're going to stay here. And these are the options that you have. Now, okay, I'm going to pull some extra cards. I'm going to see. What's your advice? Okay. Okay. Because I want you to be able to know, okay, it's one thing for me to say to you that the devils or the fears or the obstructions in your life are going to present themselves to you, but it's something else for you to know what to do with that. And so I pulled 2 cards to see what Spirit's advice to you is about how you handle that. You've got the Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands here. I feel like with the Ace of Pentacles, it's saying to you there are absolutely new opportunities in store for you. So, and I do feel this relates to creativity and business. It doesn't feel like new relationships. I'm going to be honest with you, Libra. It feels like things that you can contribute, gifts you can contribute to the world. Partnerships opening up. So it could be partnerships in terms of business partnerships. If it's new relationships, it isn't romantic and intimate. So there are things, doors, opportunities, things that could begin to unfold this month. And the Queen of Wands here, how you face off with the devil, the Queen of Wands, the concept and the meaning in this particular card is that you grasp your wounding of the past. You grasp what these 8 cups have meant to you. You get a clear sense of what you've been filling those 8 cups with. Now, it won't all be, the shadow element. Some of it will be good things, maybe you're a very compassionate person, maybe I don't know, I'm not going to go through a whole description of the good things you are right now, but there are also going to be cups in there, like I'm saying, the cup that's filled with the fly. Okay, so there's going to be, maybe you're stubborn, for example, maybe you are overindulgent, maybe you have addictions, all these sorts of things. So you need to get a sense of what's in your 8 cups. And the Queen of Wands here is saying, in terms of facing the devil, it's looking at your former weakness, because what I feel for you is it's not a perpetual present weakness. This speaks to energies of the past. Like I said, you've been doing the work to balance yourself, but now you have to understand what was ailing you, what was afflicting you, what was weakening you, and you need to turn that into your strength. And the strength, how you turn that into your strength is 1, through acknowledgement, 2, through taking action on that thing, and 3, by speaking that truth out in the world. That's how you gain your power. That's how you defeat and diminish the devil, because part of the doorway of the devil and the fear of the devil is shame, which is to not speak your truth, which is to not talk about the difficult, painful things that you've been through, the things that you overcame, the mistakes that you made, is to stay silent about that. That's what empowers the devil. So speaking your truth, showing up in the world as you authentically are, showing up in the ways that your experiences have shaped you to be, is how you vanquish this boss on the one hand. The other hand is being definitive and clear with yourself about what those hindrances in the past are. I saw a meme, well, not really a meme, a quote online today that I do want to repost to my Instagram, and I probably will. Today is Sunday, I don't know, 13th, 14th, one of these days. So I'll post it around this time if you want to check my Instagram. It's Leonie Nicole Black. I'm going to repost it. And they said something about not, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was like, don't set goals kind of based on where you want to be in the future. Set goals based on the habits that you need to create to be where you want to be. And I don't really like to be told what to do. I have Aquarius in my 9th house. I like a lot of freedom of belief. But I was like, usually memes irk me. But I was like, I really vibe with this. And it's the same for you. You have to think about being aware now of what has tripped you up in your life, being aware of where you have been trapped and enslaved in the past. Being aware of that, you now have to ask yourself, what habits do I cultivate moving through this doorway now, moving to higher ground, that begin to allow me the freedom to choose these new opportunities? Because they'll come. It doesn't mean you'll be ready to take them. They'll come. It doesn't mean that you'll see them clearly. So you need to start cultivating the right energy internally, the right perspectives internally, so that you can make use of this Ace of Pentacles. Now, the Ace of Pentacles comes up late in your reading in the advice card, so this is a double confirmation here. Ultimately, Libra, whether you get yourself ready to do this or not, you have the Death card, and I feel like this is an external energy that's happening. I feel like ultimately things are ending. There is a wave of endings passing through your life. Now, this doesn't need to sound like an omen. It doesn't need to sound super heavy or negative, because every ending is a new beginning. That's partly why you have the Ace of Pentacles. But I feel like it isn't contingent on your behavior. It is purely that on a broader cycle, in terms of the collective consciousness, in terms of the kind of evolution of humanity, or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to sound too woo-woo, but it is that we are moving into a new cycle, whether it's new cycles of growth or new cycle of lessons, like whether it's your karma or your dharma. Basically, we're looping out of one cycle into another, and this is happening with you. The Death card is here to say, ultimately, this horse of death is going to ride through your life, and it will snatch things, it will take things, it will end things. That's going to happen. But if you're preparing yourself, what you will find is that the death energy will be what will help you pass through the doorway and overcome the devil. if you want to embrace it, if you're willing to relinquish everything that is, if you're willing to pour out the cup that has the fly in it, if you're willing to go, okay, no. That's why I'm saying this month for you now is about clearing and discarding of things so that you can open yourself up. If you can do that, this death card is going to help you. If you refuse really to learn this lesson, if you kind of stay where you are and stay trying to juggle the exact same things you've currently got, you're going to go into Five of Cups. This is not out at the moment, but the Five of Cups is the grief energy. It's the sorrow. It's the person who's looking at their cups spilt on the ground. And that's what's going to happen when the devil moves through. And it's a person with the Five of Cups who also can't see the cups that are available to them still. They're not able to, they're stuck in such an emotional stagnation that they're like, oh, okay, I'm only thinking about what I've lost. And you don't want to be in that energy. You know, the death energy brings grief no matter what. You know, that's what I really believe about this card. But there are different types of grief. And grief will express differently depending on what you're grieving, you know. There's even a grief cycle. I said this to one of my clients. There's even a grief cycle around leaving one job for another, particularly because it pertains to an identity or function you've been playing. And the grief cycle really, what I mean here is the releasing process and the emotional purging that goes with that releasing. But the more attached you are to something, the more deeply rooted it is in your spirit, in your soul body. Think about like an etheric cable. Think about it having a connection right down into your soul. And if you need to pull that up, you're pulling from deep. That is painful. That is disruptive to your whole internal self. That's a completely different kind of grief cycle. So you're needing right now, it's like you're unplugging. That's what you need to do. You need to unplug certain things internally so that when the death energy moves through, when it pulls those energies out of you, they're not still locked in. They come out more smoothly. Let's move forward. Hopefully you understand that. So I asked, what's your soul spirit lessons for the month? I wonder if I can... I won't. I was going to tilt the camera around, but I won't. Okay, so you've got the Nine of Wands here. You've got the, in reverse, you've got the Two of Cups in reverse. You've got the, that was the Ten of Wands, sorry. 10 of Wands in reverse, 2 of Cups in reverse, 9 of Wands upright, 4 of Wands reverse. Look how many Wands cards you've got. This is speaking to your fire energy, your intention, your passion, your willpower, but also your intuition. Intuition that is almost very pure in its senses. It's like how it hits you. And maybe that intuition then filters through your mind. Maybe that intuition filters through your emotional body. You know, maybe that intuition comes in the form of a dream and visions. But when it hits you, it comes pure as a fire energy within. And you've got loads of fire energy here. And the only Cups card, you know, there's no swords, interestingly, in your reading. None. There's none. You're an air sign. So I'm taking that to mean that this really is a time not to be functioning in the mind and the analytical space. You'll go straight back to that. But there's some things that you need to understand on a deeper soul level in order to take that out into the world. So you have the Ten of Wands here is really speaking to overexertion. Burdens. But overexertion and burdens and things that are weighing and carrying you down that you're still not letting go of. Like, you know that they're heavy for you. You know they are. And you're still plodding along with them for whatever reason. That's still happening. 2 of Cups are partnerships that are not working. Partnerships that are not in your highest good. Partnerships that are not beneficial. They're not fruitful. They're not growing. Stagnant, stuck partnerships. Soul lesson. See them for what they are. Now, I want to say that for many of you, these partnerships aren't... when you're listening to general readings online, you have to be able to be aware of where you are in your own growth cycle. So you have to be able to listen to the message that's coming through, whether it's me or another reader, and see in the story arc of that message where you are. Are you at step 1? Are you at step 4? Are you at step 10? Because I want to say for most of you, this isn't a relationship that is wholly and visibly and obviously toxic. Now, for some of you, it will be. And so you need to know that you're somewhere else on that growth cycle. And so you have to see this Two of Wands in reverse as that, as showing you partnerships that are dead. For some of you, for others of you, the reason that this is there is because there is mutual exchange, because there is mutual giving. There is an energy flow happening here. That is the energy of Two of Cups. But in reverse, this is just something that is not in your highest good. So in some ways, it's another thing in your doorway. This is part of the devil energy. This is part of what's standing in the doorway. This is an old thing. This is a thing that is good but not great. This is a thing that's okay but not best for you. And it's okay, you could stay in it. You could. But how is it blocking something else from coming in? How is it occupying your emotional space? How is it taking up energy from you that could be derived and given to other things? The message here in terms of your soul growth and your soul lesson this month, the only card that is upright for this section is the Nine of Wands. And this is you being ruled by your fears. This is you being ruled by your hurts. This is being ruled by your wounds. This is you being ruled by your need for comfort, your need for support, your need to just get by. Your need, like your willingness to take, let's say you need 10, what you really need is a 10, and you'll take 2 because you'd rather have 2 rather than nothing, not knowing that a period of time of nothing gives you 10. And while you're holding 2, you never get what you need. That's what this is, but you're being ruled by your wound. And you're being ruled by your inability to quell your own fear, to hold your own space, to comfort your own self. And constantly seeking that energy externally from someone else. That's the wound in you. The soul and the spirit in you knows how to nurture that, knows how to repair that energy, knows the requirements, knows that the walking away in itself is part of severing the connection and severing the, what can I say, severing the energy that maintains this, let's say, maintains this feeling. Whenever you have a need that you're trying to meet with something that is less than what is fulfilling for you, it perpetuates the scarcity feeling. It perpetuates that feeling inside you of, I don't have enough, I'm still going without, this isn't it. It's like being really, really, let's put it like this, there's a difference between intentional fasting, right? There's a difference between saying, okay, I'm going to take this period of time for cleansing, for whatever, I'm not going to eat, I'm only going to have water, whatever, and you do that for however long. That's one thing. It's a complete other thing to be very hungry and be given one chip. That does not satisfy you. In fact, you'll start to really crave food more because you're like, I'm getting this thing that's just, my need for it is intensifying. So that's what I'm saying. You can't stay functioning in things that is giving you so much less than what you need, because what you think that you take the less because you don't want to have nothing, but there is something powerful in the nothing if it's intentional. And what happens when we fast? What happens when we go without? Man, I'm speaking to myself. I've got Mercury and Venus in Libra, so this is a message from me too. What happens when we fast of a thing, when we say no to a thing and we go without? Well, my perspective on this was like, well, you starve, you go hungry. I'm like, it's not fair. I have a love deficit. I need love. Why would I just continue to allow myself to go without that? But now in the process of your reading, I've just had this deeper understanding that no, actually, it's a process of spiritual purification that is powerful for you. You know, even if you think about fasting on the level of just the physical level, the bodily level, we all know like there's enough scientific evidence to support the fact that what's the word? It's not sporadic. Intermittent fasting is healthy for the body. Likewise, fasting from the things that don't feed you is going to strengthen your reserve internally and also keep you open to the thing that does. You ever been really hungry? This happens to me all the time. You know, you get really, really hungry and you end up having like a cake or a biscuit or chocolate or whatever, and it ruins your appetite. Like it wasn't fulfilling, it wasn't what you needed. You knew you needed a real meal, and now when it comes to having the real meal, you're not even hungry anymore and it's just rubbish. That's what you're doing to yourself, Libra. What you've got right now is the thing that's just rubbish. I'm sorry to say, it is. And you're having the chocolate instead of the balanced meal. And as a result of that, your foundations are uncertain, hence the need to move on to a different environment, a different strip of land, a different island, a different place to build altogether, because your current foundations are broken. They don't support you. They don't support you, Libra. Okay, so what's the advice? How can you take action and move forward on these soul lessons as they express themselves with you this month? Ace of Pentacles in reverse. It's an acknowledgement, Libra, that there are not just things externally, but things inside you that you want to create, concretize. You don't just want them to be dreams and ideas. You want to see them happen in the world now. You're ready for your Ace of Pentacles. Not just opportunities, but real physical building of things that matter to you. You're ready for this. But it's in reverse. This is the advice for you. Remember, I said to you, you had the ace coming up on the how you vanquish your devil. What it is that you have to identify what your ace is. Sorry, let me just have some water. You know, like how in certain card games an ace is like a trump card? That's what you need to understand. You need to know what your ace is, so that you're like, every time I weigh my ace against the other, whatever is feeding my wound right now, my ace wins, because I know it's my trump card. I know it's more important. I know it's the thing that matters to me. I know it's my sole purpose. I choose my ace over my wound. That's what it's asking of you. Six of Pentacles, Libra. I really thought I pulled this card for you a few times over the months. You know, this is the overextending yourself, or it's either one. Some of you just are overextending yourself, given when you don't need to give, given of your time, given of your resources, given of your effort, given of your energy, just not giving to yourself because you're given to others who are presenting as impoverished. You know, you don't just do it. You do it because people come to you in need. They come to you in need, and you go, okay, I'll show up for you like that. For this same red person in the cloak hanging around giving to the people in need needs to be on their own journey. Needs to be on their own journey. For some of you, it's that you're actually showing up as the more impoverished person. You're showing up with others and being like, feed me, heal me, keep me, give me comfort, keep me company, listen to my ideas. You're in a needy state. And as a result of this, you've got the Knight of Wands in reverse. You can't move forward. All that Wands energy that you had in your card, you can't move forward on your intuitive messages. You can't move forward on your passions, your creative energy. This would be Sagittarius for me. Expansion. Finding wisdom from the truth and the knowledge that you've acquired as a Libra air sign. This is taking it out now into the world and alchemizing it into wisdom, into higher knowledge. You're not doing that. So the message for you this month is you need to understand what your Ace of Pentacles is, because also you don't want to throw your ace in the mix of what you're giving to others. It's for you. And you need to keep that in mind in this process. Libra, it doesn't mean don't give at all. Now, for some of you, it might, because what happens is if we're in patterns of overgiving and overextension, we're at such an extreme that we don't really know where our center is. So very often we have to go to the other extreme of pulling our energy away altogether until we can find that middle ground slowly and gently and hold our boundary. So for some of you, that's what's going to happen. Others of you, you're more experienced in this path, and it's maybe just a reminder message that as you're giving, that you have to keep your own, not just your needs, not just your emotional needs. It's not what really, that's a part of it, but that's not everything. I'm talking about you have to keep your purpose in mind. What am I here to do? And as I'm giving, is that pulling me away from that purpose, or with my giving feeding into that purpose? And because you have a desire to do this, Libra, you have to find means of doing this that's in alignment with you, that this looks like building on this, that you can do this because you have this, not that you never know what this is and you throw it and you toss it to people who also can't value or recognize it. That's your reading. So if you would like a personal reading with me, it's NicoleBlack.com/services. I love you, Libra. I hope that these messages are empowering for you, and I will be seeing you soon. Much love.